This podcast is rated TV PG for fantasy violence and language. Welcome back to Star Wars Birth of the Republic tabletop role-playing game. Episode 5. Episode 5. I'm Kirk, and I will be your storyteller.
I am Andrew. I play Hakru, the Zabrak Scout.
I'm Eric. I'm playing Lashara, the Bothan Noble.
I'm Greg. I'm playing Dodd, the Human Scoundrel.
Yeah, I'm Seth, playing Jad Markeda, the Rhodian Scoundrel.
This is Mary, and I will be playing Rora, the Tagorian Scout.
All right, welcome to another episode of Gaming Without Gaming, Star Wars Birth of the Republic. Last time we went to grab the food that was supposed to be brought back, and we met some people along the way. Let me get my notes up real quick. All right. They met Arala Shul, who runs a food processing company on the planet Jassu, and she normally deals in worlds, supplying worlds with food, or large, massive cities. So it seems like you guys found out that this is sort of a goodwill gesture, sort of feel-good project for her to be sending food to a little tiny village that really needs it. We also found out that she is a slicer and had some information for you guys on the Tatari, and that they were sort of tracking you all. She made a suggestion that you guys should camouflage your engine so that it can't be your engine transponder, so it can't be recognized, because they're really watching out for you guys. She also told you about the Tatari, that there seems to be, she's narrowed it down to 3 different names that's sort of putting this this group of people together. And did she? I don't know if she told you guys it was a hut, but she wasn't. I'm not sure if that came the week before.
Kuka, Shaba, and Ramish, and they're all huts.
Right. And she had some gear that she had kind of sitting around that she'd modified, and Greg decided to purchase her computer interface visor. And that was kind of it. There wasn't really much else going on. You guys took off. You arrived back at Daghi, and I believe you guys landed.
Yeah.
And then we're discussing plans for how to set up the town for an ambush.
Yeah, we landed, we met, we unloaded everything we had, and then it kind of was like a ending of the episode was discussing battle strategies that then bled over into personal texts. Right.
And I thought someone had the idea of going into the other town with the spaceport and sort of doing intel, but I don't know if that ever got off the ground or who was going to try and do that. Garia. Someone was going to go to Garia and...
Who was it that hadn't been seen there before? Wasn't it?
I think we'd all been. No, because we went as a small parties, I think.
Yeah, so when we first got here, Everyone but her crew left the ship. Dodd picked a fight. All your faces were seen, and so her crew had to go solo on his shopping mission. That's how
Right.
we picked up an old
Right.
lady and an additional speeder bike. And now, so yeah, and so at this point in time, I don't think they've seen her crew, period, because I was quiet and stealthed in and out of that whole thing, didn't interact with anybody.
Yeah, I think Nanat's the only other person that wasn't interacting a whole lot. So,
Yeah. It's her crew, not Enlato.
yep. Yep. So it's up to you guys. Whatever you want to do. You think you've got like 2 days left before they're going to show up.
We know that they have had at least one starship, right? Because we shot
Right.
one down.
Right.
They might have more.
There was another one in orbit, but you guys stealthed in past it when you arrived. And it looked like a pretty formidable ship, I thought. I don't know if
Is it-
we discussed it or not.
Yeah.
When you say no, I don't know that we did. And is it formidable in like coming into atmosphere would be an issue similar to how coming into atmosphere for a Star Destroyer is an issue?
It's not that big.
Right.
So I think it's
So
the
it
same
wouldn't have a
class
big deal.
size. Yeah, if it had a problem, you guys would also have a problem. That sort of thing.
Okay.
Because nuking us from orbit would then be an option.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the poor Razor Crest.
So yeah, it's up to you guys. You've gotten everything unloaded, all the food at the camp they were at, and you're going to take the people back and start setting up barricades and whatnot, and continue training them so that they're able to fire their weapons and that sort of thing.
7 Samurai.
Yep.
Let's do it. So I liked the map that was drawn. I think everybody else is on board with it too. So
Yep.
since we have a day or two, I think we should still preliminarily start setting up the carts and the e-web. That way it's all ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the rest of the time, if I don't know how much scouting going to Garia is going to help. If someone wants to, that's fine. Maybe you can get a number of people that are organizing to come our way. That might be
That
it.
was kind of my thoughts is that if we could figure out what kind of numbers to expect, that'll change our strategy at least a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Also, what kind of vehicles are they bringing? Could we disable those vehicles? Maybe we could do a little bit of, as William Shatner calls it, sabotage.
Is that something you would like to do, Hakaru?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
a crew
we're
would be
in
down
character?
for trying it
Okay.
out. Oh, we're in character now. Sorry. Never sabotage something before. Like, do you mean make it go boom?
A crew, it's a lot like when you fix stuff, only backwards.
You don't necessarily
Yes, make
have
it go
to
boom.
boom, but just make it not work. And not work as a
I like
surprise
the
is
boom.
often more effective than a boom.
Yeah. Seems to me, I'm going to roll my, what's that skill called? Engineering? Technical? Looking. Mechanics. Boom. 21. Do I think that I can think of ways that we could loosen some bolts on some speeders so that maybe they'd have a couple breakdowns, lower the number of people that could get here in a hurry, that sort of thing. So that they'd think that the vehicles are working just fine, and then they're halfway through the dunes and they're like,
Right. I think the overall, you guys need to decide, do you want to scare them off or do you want to eliminate the threat? Because that's a big key as to what you guys are planning is, if you're going to lure them into a trap and shoot them and kill them all and then you don't have to worry about it, that solves those people coming back in the future. If you scare them off, they could rally and come back with much greater numbers.
Question: will we be able to communicate with Hakru when he's in Garia from where we are?
I believe so. I believe the comm systems work like that. They're pretty good.
Is it secure? Did we secure it?
That is a different question. That's something we'll have to look up real quick, because it seems like when the plot in Star Wars needs it to happen, it's secure, and then it's not. So,
you know what's real secure? The Force.
yeah.
The crew would not suggest this, but player Andrew does.
All right, we got two types of comm links. We got a long range and a short range. Short range comm links have a 50 kilometer or low orbit. Can be built in the helmets. Long range has a range of 200 kilometers or high orbit, and requires a backpack size set.
That's inconvenient.
Yeah, a crew only has a short range.
A comlink can have hardwire encryption routines, adding a +10 to the DC of all used computer checks made to intercept your transmission for 10 times the base cost. So the little tiny comlinks are 25 credits, so be 250. Yeah.
I didn't buy one with that capability quite yet, but it will be on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah, a crew didn't buy one with that capability either, so it would definitely be non-encrypted.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to retcon just for that.
You do have the force power, so you could. Yeah. That is so far the most secure out of anything, unless there's another Jedi on the planet.
And the reason that I ask is because we could send Hakru in there to get the answer to the question that Kirk asked, which is, how do we want to handle these people? I think that intel is the most important part of the question. You know, whether or not we can just scare them off or eliminate them is going to highly depend on what gets scouted in Garia. Does that sound reasonable, Hakru? Can you message us back with information so we can modify our preparations?
I will try.
Cool.
Do you guys want to spend some time trying before you get off into the thing and he freaks out because it's a use the force?
There's two speeder bikes. We've got two, right?
Yeah.
Her crew has one, and then the crew has one.
All right. Hakru, how about this? Why don't I ride with you to the town, and I'll stay in the outskirts, and I'll be within comlink range.
Well, the comlink should be good, shouldn't it?
Where's Garia at?
I mean, if we can make it to low Earth orbit.
It's 2 hours by
speeder bike.
A speeder. So
that's pretty far for a speeder bike.
Yeah, I think that's. Where did I put the speeders? I put them on the Ripper. Thought I did, yeah. I want to say they are 850 kilometers per hour.
Okay. Yeah, so they're
yeah.
really far. Okay, yeah, so it's going to have to be the Force. Hakru, can I speak to you for a moment?
Just kind of gestures.
So, Jack, what do you have going on over here? And I'll take the Rodian over and we'll discuss the battle plan.
How would you feel about trying to use some of the new techniques that we learned from, or that I learned from Lena, to get a message back to me by using the Force.
Your weirdness does not feel the same as the sisters, but it still frightens me.
I understand. All we really need to know is how many people you believe will be coming in this party of Tatari. Can we make a deal that you could just send me that number and we'll go and we'll take that into consideration for how we set things up here for when they arrive?
How do I send number?
I'm only just learning this myself, so try to concentrate on that number and me, and I'll see if I can guess that number.
Oh, okay. So Hakuru's gonna think really hard about a number.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just roll. I guess we should both roll use the Force.
You could roll it, or you could take 10. Both of you could take 10 on this, and it just takes time of you guys practicing back and forth. So whatever your use the Force is, it adds 10 to it.
Okay. I rolled 27. A plus 9's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Hakuru did not roll that well because we're good. I figure rolling would be probably what he'd be doing there in the moment. But he still got a 15.
That does it. So you guys practice this for a little bit back and forth, and you seem to get the feel for it. It's not as hard as it seemed.
Every time, like just before the number like appears, like Talash, like when that connection happens, there is a visible just shudder and just twitching body comes out of Hakuru. Just like, he visibly looks like he's being violated.
All right.
And Lash can pick up the uncomfort or the discomfort there. And
with the 26.
Sweating. He's just...
Okay, so you guys...
after like the fourth or fifth time, Hakuru's like, no more. I know this is important, so I will do it. But only because emergency.
So Lash wants to thank him for this, since she knows it's so uncomfortable for him. Would Lash know what a proper greeting would be for his species?
You have a knowledge skill. You have galactic knowledge.
Yeah, I do have galactic knowledge.
You also know as a personal knowledge, he currently doesn't have any love for his species.
Well, she likes to be respectful. She don't know jack shit about you. That was a 3 plus whatever. Not enough. That's a 10. Plus 7 in galactic knowledge. She's smart.
A 10 might get you. Yeah, I'd say that gets you just a basic greeting. Like if it's a bow or a handshake, like you're not awkward about that.
Yeah. Yeah, she wants to like give him a hug for it, but she knows that with the discomfort he's had and everything, that's probably not cool. So she thinks about it for a second and looks at her crew and probably gets an eye. He knows what she's looking for, and instead she gives him that other thank you, standing back and not violating his space.
Okay. All right. That took about an hour of you guys going back and forth. Was there anything anyone else was going to do in the meantime? Were you guys going to get the e-web out?
Yeah, I'm gonna get the e-web out, and would it from when we're rolling and potentially in battle, will it help if I start training the villager that's gonna help me out on how to use the regulator?
Probably not until you get it set up and running.
All right.
Because you've got to get this thing from your ship, which is not at the town.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the village where they're currently staying. You've got to transport that probably on that push cart thing attached to a speeder
Yeah.
bike.
All right.
And then you've got to get everybody else there walking, unless you make really fast back and forth trips to grab everybody on speeder bikes.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna focus on the e-web because that's all I care about.
Okay.
Really.
You get it loaded up.
I'll get that today. Yeah.
Get it loaded up. The villagers, let's see. They seem to be gathering. About half of them are there right now. The other half are still milling about with the food, trying to put things up and secure things. So half of them are ready to go back to their village if you want.
Yeah, I'll take them with me. We'll just ride slow.
Okay. All right. So about 15 of them go with you right now. What are the rest of you guys doing?
I guess Hakru is going to be getting on his speeder bike and getting ready to go do some observations.
Okay.
And the crew, he's mechanically inclined enough to be able to sabotage with, simple instructions while we talk about it here, right?
I'm gonna ask. Does
I can take a
anybody
wrench
have
with
any-
me and loosen some bolts on some bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I need 2 comms, right?
Right.
2 comm sticks. What are they called?
Com links.
Comm links. Thank you. I need 2 comm links and a pair of binoculars. Does anybody have that?
Hakru holds up his comlink and he holds up his scope.
The scope might work. What I'm thinking is, how about this, Hakru? Why don't I ride out there with you? I'm gonna find an overlook where I can stay hidden and cover you as best I can. I'm not a sniper, and I can't fight, but I can at least warn you if something looks out of range. Also, maybe I could spot some vehicles and I might have an inspired idea or two while
That's
I'm
a
out
good
there.
idea.
May I borrow your scope, Hakru? May I borrow a comlink, Lashara?
Absolutely.
Thank you. We'll be back. I like how Hakru does not agree to this at all. He just kind of raises his eyebrows, and then I walk towards the speeder bike.
I mean,
Jess, something along the way.
He was bobbing his head just like,
I thought one of you guys did have binoculars in your pack. I could be wrong.
I do not.
I might. I got, let's see, comlink, short range, liquid cable dispenser, small grabbing hook, breath mask, close to around that pad, red patch, scope. Nope, I don't have. It's definitely not in my stuff.
I don't have it either.
Let me see.
I was gonna say I have to go pee. I'll be right back.
Oh,
How dare you?
Oh, he doesn't have it either. I thought Nanot would have some, but nope.
Yeah, I think the only long range visual thing we have is Hakru's scope.
Yeah. Nanot has a scope too, but it's all attached to his.
Yeah, mine's attached to my rifle. So when you ask for my scope, I hand you my rifle.
that'll work. I don't have rifle proficiency, so I can't really use it. But
Hakru like walks over, he shows, he goes, okay, what do you hold like this? Arm goes like he like when you teach your girlfriend how to shoot pool,
yeah,
that's what he does.
I nod at
really-
him sagely as he's doing this, and I go, kind of put it on my back and look at my DL-44. Let's go, and march my way to the speeder.
All right, cool. Hakru's unarmed.
Nanot says, "Do you want me to go with you too? We could drop him off and come back for me."
Oh,
That way you
they're not.
that way you're not completely unarmed while you go to the city.
I mean, it seems like it's a wise idea.
Sounds like a safer option.
But if how many? So real quick, how many people fit on the speeder bike?
You could fit 2 barely.
We
Okay,
have speeders.
so we're doing. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna take both speeders up there then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do that too.
Okay.
We can just tie them in a raft behind you and just pull a
Yeah.
van. That'd be sweet. Across the desert.
If we did do that, like we put the way I would just see that is like we put a piece of scrap metal on the ground and the crew just rides it like a sled.
Mhm.
And the only reason the crew would just automatically do this is because he's used to being the guy towed.
So, Jad took off with the other speeder, and the E-Web in tow with the cart. So, do you guys want to go to the town and then divide all this up and do all this? Because he's going slow enough that people are walking with him.
Oh, Jad
Yeah.
took the other speeder.
So,
Yeah, so
literally, if there's no reason for him to have the other speeder, if everyone's walking and it's going at that such slow pace, they could just push the cart with the E-Web on it.
It's up to Jad. I didn't want to screw up his game just to.
Well, he kind of already took off with it a little bit, but they're walking, so it's not too far away.
it'll take 5 minutes via speeder to
Yeah.
catch him.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going slow with all the rest of the villagers walking.
Yeah. So, Jad, what we decided is Nanak, Dodd, and I are all going to go. So we need both speeders, and the cart is easily pushed.
So
At your
what? I have
current
to
walk.
walk and push it? Oh my gosh!
Yes.
All right, fine.
All right. He gets off, takes the string off it or whatever he's pulling it with, a rope.
Throw it down real hard. And then push it over to a villager and say, "Hey, you got this." And then walk beside it.
Okay. Now the villager is happy to do it. It's like a kid with a toy that he get to play with. So he runs over and starts pushing it real fast. So Nanat and her crew, Dodd, who you riding with?
I'll ride with Nanat, I suppose.
Okay. And he says you want to be somewhere in between the two
Yeah, that makes
cities.
probably the most sense.
All right. So you guys take off. And about an hour into it, let's do a perception roll to find a good spot.
Okay.
This would probably fall under something else, but tactics or something. But
I am going to use an ability I have never gotten to use before. Haha. Where is it? Oh, nice. I'm still going to use my ability, though. Acute Senses, which allows me to reroll perception checks.
go.
And it's not that I did a bad one. I feel like I can do better than 7.
29 for me.
29.
Ideally, I'm looking for like a rock outcropping, maybe something with like a billboard or something I can stick myself underneath where I won't be noticed. Something like that. Just something really strategic where I can overlook the town.
Yeah. Overlook the town, or did you want to be somewhere in between the two towns?
I'd like to be able to see what's going on with Hakuru and Nanat, so that
Okay.
if I see something that basically I don't want to be out of character going,
Right.
hey guys, what if you do this thing?
Right.
I want to have some reason to be able to see it and go, hey, by the way, that kind of thing.
Okay. This town is a little bit on a slightly bigger plateau than the Adan. So there are some. They're not dunes. They're more like small rock hills.
Mesas.
Kind of. They're not very tall. I'd say the largest one is like 20 or 30 feet tall. So you can kind of lay on top of it and not really be seen.
Okay. Yep, that's the plan, and I'll have the scope from the rifle out, and I'll be listening on the comm
Okay.
to whatever conversations they're having.
Okay.
I work out with Hakuru and Nanat that I will ping the comm link if I need to say something, instead of just speaking out loud in the middle of whatever it is that they're doing, so that they know to try to conceal that if necessary.
Okay.
Oh, so is Nanat coming with me towards the town where I'm going to be doing the sabotaging?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
the idea
okay.
is that he'll be armed at least.
Okay. The other option is, just giving Hakuru a gun.
Right.
Oh, I mean, I could give you my DL-44. Before we go, if you mention that, I hand it to you, and I'm like, I'm not real good with a rifle, but I'll do what I can from here.
Hakuru takes the blaster. He takes it, like, he actually does a quick little spin, like checking it, like, nice.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of awkwardly holds it because he doesn't have a holster.
That's funny.
Oh, I'll unbelt mine and hand it to him. My manners, good sir.
He puts it in and just holds the holster.
I described to Nanat a wide-brimmed Cad Bane hat. If you see one, pick one up for me, and I flip him some credits.
Okay. He gets on the bike, and you guys take off into town. Are you going to stop at the mechanic's place and sort of park stuff there, or that was on the very outskirts of town?
No, I don't think Hakuru would do that, because that's not mission. So for him, it's going to be stowing the bikes a little bit a ways from town.
Okay.
And then sneaking up. So he's probably going to be doing this as close to evening, like arriving there as close to evening as possible.
Honestly, the best place to leave the bikes is probably with Greg then, because that's a good hiding space. And everything, this whole planet is pretty much flat. So dropping those off there and then walking in would be the best plan. That way someone's kind of still watching them, if that's what you're worried about.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was someone is able to watch the bikes, and B, the bikes are not able to be seen as like, what are those doing there?
Right. So you guys start off walking. It takes about 20 minutes to get there at just a careful walk without running or anything. The city's pretty much normal looking from last time you saw it. There's people wandering here and there, but not a lot. It's not like the city's not on lockdown or anything.
So Hakuru would be like hiding almost instantly, like as soon as we get within like 50 to like 100 to 50 to 100 feet from where the edge of town is. That's when Hakuru starts going in his move quietly, blend into the background movements. And literally, he's just going to start counting every person he sees.
Okay. Nanat is also going to do that. Go ahead and roll stealth.
23. I guess to hide on the mesa. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was dumb. But I'm 23 hidden on the mesa. So.
Yeah.
First really good roll of the night for me. So 29.
Okay.
I didn't max my roll. I got a 19.
There you go. Nanat is not doing a standard like duck and cover stealth. He's kind of walking and slowly like leaning against a wall, and then he picks up and walks for a little bit longer, then sits down like a crate. So he's still visible. He's tall and furry. Right.
He's acting casual.
Yeah, and he's got a data pad out, and he goes over to her once in a while. You're not sure if he's taking images with it or not. You can't see. He's got the screen sort of darkened pretty much, but he is kind of doing this thing where he's kind of like looking around and messing with it and doing this, holding it aside and pushing some buttons.
Yeah. Hakru's gone.
Yeah. And so since he can't see where you've gone, you've sort of blended in. He's casually looking around and wandering through the city. There is a little stall and shop that he stops at, and he starts talking to the proprietor, and they're shaking their head, yeah, and they pull open a little box, and it's got comms in it, and the guy shakes his head, and he starts nodding, and Nanat pulls out some credits and starts handing him credits. He also walks across the street. He doesn't take anything. He hands the guy the credit. The guy takes the box back and starts pulling out some tools and working on it. He goes across the street and starts to another vendor messing around and gets a cloak, and it doesn't look that great, but he puts it on and throws up a hood. He stops and goes back over the guy, calls him back over and talks to him again and points, and the guy brings over some binoculars and hands it to him, and he gives him some coins for it. He's sort of wandering around, kind of looking around every once in a while. He stops and looks around and takes a scan to see where you're at. Does not see where you're at. So he just starts heading kind of toward the center of town. Are you following him? Are you doing your own thing? You're pretty sure at this point he does not know where you're at.
Yeah. And
He's not made eye contact with you or anything in the last hour and a half.
so Hakru's main thing is going to be going around the city and kind of like almost spiraling towards the center.
Okay.
But he's also going to be keeping an eye, and like you said, he's counting people. That's what he's doing. But then he's also going to be looking for speeder bikes
Okay.
because that was mentioned.
Hold on. Where's it at? I just want to make sure before we get too far along that if I wrote it down or not. Did I write it down? I did not. The city of Garia is probably like 40 to 60,000 people.
Oh,
So
this
you're
is way bigger.
So
than I
you're
thought.
up to like 450 by the time you've skirted a good portion around. It's a huge city. It's enough for a spaceport. It's like most of the people that were on the planet have sort of gathered to this space.
Okay.
So
I
it's
definitely mentally had the wrong picture in my
yeah.
head.
Adan
I was
is
thinking, like,
Adan is a walking around city, you know, catching people and knowing your neighbors and stuff. This place is not.
Okay. Then I would then shift. Okay, so knowing
Sorry.
that, mini recon, Hakru would then be counting anyone who looked thuggish.
Okay.
So like, I know it's kind of like now it's a little more up in the air kind of thing, but it's like if I see like people walking around like openly carrying weapons, if I see some guy like yell at another guy and start like shoving each other, like so he starts counting like aggressive people,
Right.
I guess would be his next thing if it's that many people.
Yeah.
And then he would be looking for speeder bikes that would be near where those people were gathering.
Okay. So do a perception roll.
Okay.
Apologies, I couldn't get to the mute fast enough before I started sneezing.
I'm all stuffed up, so I'll probably sneeze here in a little bit.
How often can I use that ability?
Probably once per scene.
Probably. Let's check here. Oh, no, it's literally any perception check. I just have to take the second roll, even if it's worse.
It's heightened awareness. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, heightened awareness, the Zabrak species trait.
Oh, no, you
It's the-
spend a force point for that to add your charisma bonus to your perception check.
No, that's one thing I put in the chat a while ago. Was the one that you cited was a force ability. The Zabrak species trait of the exact
that's what it
same
is.
name.
Okay.
And I think they did that because it also has the exact same functionality
Yeah.
as acute senses from the. So this is probably been renamed to something else.
Yeah. Let me see if it's in the wiki that we're looking at.
It's in the core book, page 33. So there is that.
Yeah. It just says strong survival instincts, quick response reactions. You may choose to reroll any perception check, but you have to take the other one. So yeah.
So the first roll was a 5.
Okay.
So let's see. That's why it's like, oh, can I get better? Basically, it's like anytime I roll below a 10,
Yeah.
it's like, all right,
Might as well.
reroll. Cool. So 15 plus, let's see, perception 9. So 24.
All right. Let me make sure they didn't put something in the.
Like they didn't errata it for something else.
Or put like a note under the perception page just saying, hey, this can be done whenever, but nope. Nothing.
Yes, I can do this with perception checks and initiative checks, and later on I will also be able to do this with stealth checks.
Okay.
Because those are the rolls I care about.
Yep. Nothing anywhere. All right. With your perception roll, you are wandering around and you realize that there's no sort of rough-looking people around. Make an intelligence check.
I can't re-roll these.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
So it's a +3.
7.
You're not sure if you remember them the first time you were around because you weren't looking for them specifically.
Nope.
But there doesn't seem like there's a lot of riffraff at all, like 0, which is really odd for any sort of city space that you've seen. So you're wandering around and suddenly you realize that what you're looking for is it's absent, which is strange. So you could pick up your pace a lot quicker because there's just no like seedy bars where people are like biker bars and stuff like that. Like there's nothing like that at all. Like
Yeah, I get you.
it's a big guild city. It's a thieves guild city, so there's no thieves actively, doing anything that they shouldn't be doing.
I don't even think a crew knows what a Thieves Guild city is.
Yeah.
He just knows that no one is roughing each other up.
Yeah.
So as far as he knows, it's like, wow, this is the most well-policed city ever.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. You don't see a lot of police, so you don't know how it's being maintained.
A crew knows there's magic.
Yeah, so it could be space magic. So do you want to pick up your pace and start the spiral quicker?
I think with that much, like with as much as he's already looked for, he's going to go find Nanat.
Okay. So make another perception roll as you're kind of doing your circle.
Oh, I'm going to keep that one. 24.
All right. He is not doing a good job at stealthing. So you come around back to where his trajectory is, and you pretty much run into him. You see him right off the bat. But he looks like one of the locals. Like there's other people shopping and moving around. And now with his hood up and everything, he looks like he fits in.
A crew just kind of walks up and just tugs on his cloak.
All right. He jumps. He rolled a 1. So he doesn't howl, but he barks real loud. and spins, and then he sees you and stops. But his teeth are bared, and you see his claws are out, and he stops and he goes, "Do not sneak up on me."
I was told be quiet, so I am being quiet.
You are very quiet. Have you found anything?
It's like this city has no crime, no thugs. Where are these people that are supposed to be doing bad things to the miners?
I have no idea, but I have noticed them as well. The absence of them as well. I did overhear someone saying there is some sort of gathering meetings that have been going on for the last 2 nights in the center of the town, and that's where I'm heading.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
He just keeps walking, and eventually you guys come to the center of this pretty good-sized city, and it's laid out pretty well. There's no real greenery or anything, but it's spacious. It would be hard to sneak up on the central building, the governmental building, or whatever it would be called, the mining headquarters, because
City
there's
Hall.
nothing around it. Yeah, but you do see a lot of the people that you were looking for are sort of hanging out or camped out or parked in this sort of quad. And they're all talking and doing their own thing pretty much without... There's an occasional fight or disagreement, and then other people kind of walk up and break it up pretty efficiently.
This is when Hakuruk says, yes, this is more like what we were looking for. And he hears the chirp chirp over the comm. And he pulls up and goes, hello?
How's it going out there?
We finally found them.
Excellent. I was just about to suggest an alternate form of an alternate plan, but if you guys got it sorted, that's great. I didn't realize this town was as big as it is. This place is huge.
And I came here at night. It seemed more open. But,
Yeah.
now that there's actually like people here, yes, it is very, very big.
Okay, how far from where I am are you guys at this point?
How far are we?
Well, you're almost at the center of the city, so
30
Couple
minutes,
miles.
probably.
yeah, about 30, 35 minutes, depending on how fast you want to move. Walking,
All right,
probably
I'll-
like 40.
I'll stay here with the speeders. Do your thing. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
And there's all different kinds of people. There, it looks like there's a lot of young folks that are not quite, they don't look like they're ready or prepared to be criminals or whatever the rest of them are. But there's about a solid 20 to 30 people that you think are sort of seasoned criminals in this group around this city square. And your best guess is
About how many young bloods?
they're recruiting young people from the city itself. So they may be part of the economy now, this group or whatever. Young people, probably about 40. But a lot of them are like 0 level, whatever they are.
That's
They're
fine.
just trying to get in the gang or whatever. So they're sitting around, they're shooting the shit. Some are eating and drinking, that sort of thing. And it seems like the only beef that's coming up are between some of the seasoned people.
Okay. Of this group, about how many appear to be in positions of authority?
It's a chaotic authority. It's an anarchistic. So if there is
Even
an
in the
authority,
schoolyard, every pod gathers around one person. So
you think whoever might be in charge is inside the building because they're all gathered around the building, like they're waiting to be told what to do or talked to or spoken to.
okay. I would say unless I can hold on to my original. No, I broke that stealth. Nanat's gonna. Not Nanat. Sorry, Hakru is going to attempt, his shinobi vanish again.
Okay.
He does it.
Oh, Nanat does it as well. He realizes
So
he's
my new
staying out.
total-
Go ahead.
My new total is 26.
Yeah, he got a 23, so you both kind of step back along the sides in an alley, and no one's really watching for you, but you think you're pretty well hidden in case anyone was looking around. So about 2 more hours go by, and nothing's really happening, and finally people start, a ripple goes throughout the crowd, and people start sort of standing up and gathering toward the front of this building. The kids don't seem to do it at all, but you think this 25, 30 people group all start getting ready and preparing for someone to come out. And eventually this Duro comes out, and she starts to address the group. She's not on a megaphone or anything, so they're up kind of close. So that would be a perception roll, and from where you guys are at, I'm going to say it needs to be a 25 at least.
So I was looking at you because I was already thinking like, yeah, Hakuru's going to listen intently. Oh wait, since he's actively doing something, this might be a force thing, but nah. Okay. I did not get 25, so since this is perception, I'm going to re-roll.
Okay.
My first roll was an 11.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
So my total score became an 11.
Okay. Nanot's ears perk up and start twitching. He pulls the cloak back and starts listening really intently. And since you guys are pretty much standing together, he just starts lowly repeating whatever is being said from what he's hearing. Looks like shipments coming in tomorrow. Some sort of vehicle, and they'll follow the initial group that's going to try and scare the town into compliance. So they're sort of the backup. So he listens a little more and he goes, I think it's a transport, but I'm not certain. And there'll be about 7 or 8 people on the transport.
So I say quietly I beep the thing a couple of times. I said, just so that I understand, these guys are the backup. The new crew is what's showing up to cause problems in our town.
It sounds like the only thing that's arriving is some sort of transport.
To get them there.
Yep.
I'll go back to being quiet.
So Nana keeps listening. He says, it sounds like they're taking a speeder with about 7 people initially. Venom will take that in, and then the 8 to 10 people will be lagging behind, only to be used if necessary.
So 2 waves, 17 people total.
Yeah.
Check.
And then she stands up and kind of looks at everybody, and then turns around and walks back into the building. And they all start nodding and slapping each other on the chest and that sort of thing, like they're getting pumped up. And then they kind of disperse back out into the crowd.
Did we hear where they are going to get where the transport will be coming from?
Nana says, I think it's coming in from space. I think so it's being shipped in.
So it is cargo. You tell me cargo belongs on Manifest. manifest has dates and times.
And it says generally.
So we could know if we go, we can see what's being brought in. We go check spaceport. We see what's being brought in. We then have more information. More information you tell me is better.
We could wait. But it sounds like it's not going to be until tomorrow afternoon or evening.
Well, I think Lash wanted us back before then. Any reason we can't come back tomorrow?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
And he puts his hood back up and turns around and starts walking out.
The crew just starts walking like half a step behind him.
Yeah. And he's still doing the casual, like, stops every once in a while and sits and looks around cautiously. You think he had his data pad up taking pictures of the crowd, of the group that was around the building. Eventually, you guys make it out to the dune where Dodd is at. Oh, he stops on the way out and picks up a little container with, it looks like 4 comms in it. Commulinks.
Commulinks. They're red with yellow stars.
Yep. And they share with everybody.
They do.
It's the exact opposite of encryption. So you guys head back up to the speeder bikes and start to head back unless you've got anything else to do.
I was just, like, one last thing I was going to do. It's like, so as Nanat and Hakru were walking through town after like a moment of silence after having his spaceport idea, he would look up at Nanat and go, "Did I have good thoughts?"
Yes, it was good.
You see him like kind of swell and beam.
You were also very sneaky. Way sneakier than I.
Have to be. Otherwise get stabbed.
That is a good plan. When he gets to the top of the dunes, he looks at Dodd for a second, squints a little bit, and then pulls out the monobinoculars and hands them to him, like pushes them against your chest.
Thank you. I'll do the pistol swap.
Yeah. He says, this will be easier than the scope.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Hakru like de-shoulder, like it. You handed him like what I imagine is like you handed him like a belt with a holster on it, and he like only used it as like he basically like rigged it up like it was a shoulder strap bandolier for a rifle because that's all he knows.
Nice.
And hands it back.
I mean, to be fair, he does see me wear it properly.
Yeah.
But this is true.
But I'll certainly discuss with you guys what it is that you saw, and then we'll head out.
Okay.
Unless one of you mentions that there's a haberdashery that you noticed while you were in there.
I do not know this word.
Hat store.
Nanat says, I did not see one. Oh, he just I did not see a hat that I liked.
Okay.
There was only this
Good
cloak.
enough.
And it's a ratty looking cloak, like it's secondhand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, when we get back there, and like who goes, so we're going to come back tomorrow, and we are going to because we have the numbers. So I need to give those to Lash.
I'll
One
get
moment
him to her. Oh, that's right.
and because the crew promised.
Yep. No,
So
I don't want to interrupt the cool moment.
So
Sorry.
he really focuses on the numbers that were decided on what was going. So he really thinks hard on wave 1, 10, wave 2, 7.
It's backwards.
Backwards.
but
Yeah.
Oh, that's backwards? Okay. Wave 1, 7, wave 2,
Right.
10.
1, 2, 5, sir. No, 3, sir. 3. Yeah. So there's 2 waves, and it doesn't. Now it says it doesn't sound like the second wave will be brought in right away unless it's necessary.
Right. Make it necessary. So.
And he also turns over his data pad to whoever wants to look at it, and it's got pictures of all the people gathered, some of the people walking around, pictures of really bad looking hats, and the stalls that he went to and shopped from, and what they had gear wise.
Yeah. So to send my telepathic message to Lash, I have a 24,
Okay.
I believe.
What's the word? You get one word. Yep.
Oh, I get one word?
Yep.
Oh, I thought... Okay. I guess then it's just going to be 17.
Okay. So Lasha's standing around or putting up barricades, and all of a sudden gets a 17 comes to her in his
She's gonna
Haku's
go and-
voice.
She's gonna go tell the leader of the
Okay.
group there. What's his name?
Pana.
Starts with a P.
Yeah.
Pana. That information, so they can adjust plans as necessary for defense.
Okay. And right before you guys get on the speeders, he says, "Do we want to attack the transport vehicle since it won't be up with the others when it leaves?"
I feel like we should discuss this with everybody. My mind send... Lash's mind send doesn't allow for
That much
details.
information. There you go. I think if we can figure out a way to sabotage it before it rolls out, I think that'd be great. But I don't know who's the fastest rider on one of these.
The crew
speeder
holds up a
bikes.
wrench.
Okay. So Haku, you guys all get on your bikes and take off.
Yeah.
Takes about 2 hours. You guys pull up to Adan, and everyone gets off their speeders. And most of the barricades have been set up by now, and you see people are off just sort of practice shooting.
And the barricades were supposed to just be like, hey, we're gonna just like we're gonna park this cart here.
Right.
It's not like people like stacked up like spiked pieces of wood
No.
or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And what it is nothing's in the way, but they're all on sort of carts that can be quickly rolled out and then sort of tipped over or dumped, so they'll be in the way.
Yeah, yeah.
So when they pull into town, it won't look any different until everything's activated.
Cool.
So Nanot gets off the bike and starts walking around looking at things, doing kind of like an inspection, but just sort of getting a lay of the land.
Her crew would probably just follow Don.
By this
I'll
time,
go to find Lash and Jad, and let's have a powwow.
okay. Jad is probably on top of one of the structures with the E-Web, and one of the villagers going over how to work it.
Right.
Currently, and I'm also currently yelling at some other villagers to bring over some more carts to help set up a defense.
Okay. I wave at you and kind of signal you down.
All right, come on over.
All right. So it looks like here's what we're up against. They're going to send in 2 waves. First wave is going to be 7, and I figured those 7 are going to be heavy hitters. They have 10 men in reserve that will be riding out in a transport that arrives tomorrow afternoon. My thought is we should try to sabotage that ride before it gets out here, handle the 7 soundly, so that there's no reason for them to come back. We become too much trouble for them to worry about. What do you think?
I think it
There
sounds
is-
good.
There is also they were there are more than just the ones they are sending. Uh,
There's hundreds, right?
More than the 17?
well, there's the 17th. They're coming to deal with the issue, as they like to call it. But in total, there were
about-
about 27 what I would call veterans,
Yeah.
and they were actively recruiting. You know, the term they were throwing around was young bloods. The people who were still wet behind the ear. Children. There we go. And so the 17 will probably be mostly of that veteran force, but it does no matter what we deal with, it's not all of it. And I know that was a concern.
So Lash looks at Dodd and says, "We're in this for a longer haul than we thought, it looks like."
Well, we can't leave them open to further attacks without giving them some way of defending themselves. We've given them weapons. We've got an E-web blaster. We've given them the means to hide their own ability to produce foodstuffs. And we're creating a supply chain that should offer them a pretty incredible amount of wealth and self-sufficiency.
And I think if we take out the 7...
Oh, yeah, no, Jet.
No, go ahead.
Jet. If we can defeat the first wave, and we can do it in such a way that is enough to give them a reason to consider not coming back right away, perhaps they'll have enough funds to hire a mercenary group to protect them in the future.
That was the same thing I was going to say.
Hakru, you have something else to offer?
They are bringing that second wave instead of destroying transport. What if we took it?
Well, I wonder if it would fit on our ship. Probably not.
No. We take it and give it to the villagers, the mining company.
What would they do with it?
Well, it would allow them to transport more of their goods, so that they don't have to so they become more self-sufficient.
What's a possibility?
Even then, like a ship.
Yeah.
Even then, still a small, even just planetary transport.
Are you saying steal the ship that's bringing the transport in?
No. Just steal the transport.
Kill everybody on it and then take it.
No.
I think I like this plan. What happens if we show up at the space dock where they're dropping the transport, and steal the ship dropping off the transport, and give it to the settlers or to the miners?
Their whole plan is ruined. Even then, they either have to redraw their plan or they have to do it without the transport, which means there is less cover.
Transports have weapons.
So Lash looks. Panna's not here with us, correct?
No, you guys went off and kind of powwowed by yourself.
Okay. So Lash still looks over at Panna and looks back at Dodd and Hakru and says, "Pals, we need to make a decision now of what our goal is here, of whether or not we're just going to scare off these people or if we're going to start stealing their goods. Right now, we're only a certain level of target to them, but if we start stealing their ships, that's a much larger target."
So you're saying we'll be aggravating them more, and they'll have more incentive to exact revenge.
Exactly. I think that they're much more likely to forget us.
If we fight off a group of brigands.
Yeah, instead of stealing their main cargo transports.
That makes sense. How about this then? Why don't we sabotage the transport so that hopefully it falls apart on the way, and we take out the 7?
That's much more reasonable, and it should send a clear message.
And if we can't sabotage the transport and it happens to get here, we'll just take out the 10 and take the transport. It's a win-win in the end.
I was of the impression that we were trying to get this mining colony on even footing with the brigands, and I thought the transport would help with that. But no, we can go with our original plan. Yes.
I think Lash is talking about something that is more of an idea of system of tolerances for how this group would approach the miners afterwards. Lash, what kind of role would it be to kind of predict behavior of a group of criminals?
I think you would have to do a little more information gathering on them first to find out what they're sort of, how they operate. And they're pretty new, so I don't know if there's a lot of information even out there.
And Lash is pretty good with, I mean, she's really good at negotiation. She's grown up in nobility and had to deal with, trade summits and things like that on a high level, and has been, trained in that type of thing in her schooling. She doesn't know anything about, the criminal syndicates per se.
Right.
So it might be a combination of Lash thinking and Dodd thinking, like an intelligence check and then an assist check, maybe.
Basically what you're looking at is a knowledge skill, social sciences that covers sociology, psychology, philosophy, theology, and criminology. But I don't think anyone has that knowledge skill yet.
I don't.
No.
So you could try the roll. Just, I don't think it's trained. Oh, it is trained, but let me see.
Yeah, all knowledge skills are trained.
Trained only. Yeah, this would be anticipate enemy strategy tactics trained only. So,
yeah, Lash would only be speaking from her viewpoint of just knowing how business is done and people wheel and deal with each other and what makes business sense to acceptable losses type thing. Whether or not she can convince them that this little outpost is an acceptable loss and not worth the trouble. That's where she's going to aim to convince.
And it seems like the person you really need to convince is the Duro who's in the city. Once she feels it's no longer necessary or viable, then she's the one that's going to make that decision. The mayor or whatever her title is.
Too much trouble is the idea that I'm hoping for.
Right.
Oh yeah, and again, this is very much player Andrew absolutely agrees, and Hakuru is just kind of like going like, "Oh,
yeah." So it's up to you guys. Would this sacking of her group be the message, or does someone need to do a follow-up transmission to her afterwards? You leave the skiff out at the edge of their town, tell her where it's at, and then tell them to leave it alone. I don't know.
This planet is protected.
Lash says that I think if we take out the Duro completely and send the rest of the underlings back, or what's left of them after the ambush, with a message to the mayor of Garia that we don't have anything that you we're not that big of an operation for you to care about and risk losing other key members of your syndicate. I think that would be a good long-term message and goal.
Nanat says, it looks like they're sending half of their group, they're seasoned veterans. So if we literally take them out, that would cut her force in half. And that's a pretty big city to have 10 or 12 people that are trying to hold everything together.
And it would lose her generals and lieutenants.
Exactly. Why would she want to risk anything after that?
Correct. I wouldn't.
Sounds like a plan to me.
I like it.
Although she like looks over and she's like, I don't think we should steal their equipment, and someone's gonna have to send back the message. I don't know if we should go and do that or not.
We could send it back later and make the transmission from whatever transport that is, and then leave it.
I like it.
My vote.
Let's get some rest. Tomorrow's going to be a big day.
Okay. I guess the only thing didn't get rigged up were the thermal detonators.
Oh,
So everything else got kind of built by the villagers. You guys were going to have to rig up something
did we
to...
figure out a way to remote detonate those?
Yeah, it just needs to be a. It's one of those, like, it's a DM approved thing. So if Kirk approves it, it's
From the look on his face, I'm guessing no.
You'd have to do a mechanics...
Yeah.
What is it? It's not jury rig. Or, yeah, maybe it is jury rig. To get them to work differently than what they are designed
Yeah,
to.
I thought that's what you said last time.
okay. Which I mean, Hakuru's willing to do that. Just it makes it so they all go up on a. Basically, we bury them primed. No one walk through that center of that section of town.
Right.
And then I hand just a switch to Lash. So
Okay. So go ahead.
Like in that way, you're thinking of placing them where on the map it says to Garia direction sign, like right in that area.
so
Or you think it's somewhere in between where I'm standing and Lash is standing?
You
if you-
should be able to refresh the map that's in the Wikipedia.
everywhere where it says T, that's a thermal detonator.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. You've already accounted for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the V's are villagers. The yellow
Okay.
boxes are the
Crates and carts.
crates
Right.
and carts. Our initials are where each of us were going to be hiding.
That's the one part of the map where that I figured out.
Okay.
Each one of those is a hut, right? Or like a small building.
Yeah.
So I do have one change that I'd like to propose for this, at least for the thermal detonators, that someone hold one back just in case we need an extra. I don't know that the damage from 6 down to 5 is going to make that much difference, but if we needed one later on, at least we'd have one held back.
Do you want to take off? So where it's kind of got the two that make the tail. Do we want to just take both of those so it just becomes that box in the middle? Because you're already going to be firing an E-web down their throat on top of the
Yeah, it
blast
could-
coming from below them.
Yeah, so if you wanted to pull 2 back, that's
And
cool
then
too, but just in case.
yeah, then Lash and Dodd, where they're standing, they could be holding on to thermals, and then that way, when Wave 2 comes in, they can they can throw those and hit them with thermals.
I do not have the thrown weapon skill.
You have
think
precise
just
shot,
don't-
right? That's thrown. Precise
Yeah,
shot's thrown.
There's a difference between the thrown weapon skill, which is like I'm going to throw my sword at you, and throwing a grenade.
Is there? Okay.
At least I believe there is.
I'm pretty sure precise shot includes thrown weapons.
Well, no, there's an actual like feat called like strong thrower or grenadier or something like that.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
think that allows you to do extra stuff with thrown weapons and grenades.
Right.
But I do
Okay.
believe that
Should be just your dexterity bonus plus your base attack.
Oh, it just says throw a ranged weapon, so I guess you can throw your weapon at somebody.
Yeah.
and I pull out my gun, throw.
Yeah.
So it's Superman serials.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was supposed to be rolling a
Mechanics check.
mechanics check.
Yeah.
All right. I'm hitting nice in the middle of the range today, which is kind of nice here. So let's see, mechanics 9 plus 25.
That's 4. Oh,
Just
wait.
rigging-
They've got a whole thing about handle explosives. Setting up a simple explosive to blow up at a certain spot doesn't require a check, but connecting and setting a detonator does. Also, placing an explosive for maximum effect against a structure calls for a check.
I guess this would just be a detonator.
Yeah. So, I don't think it's anything fancy, so 15's all it's going to take. Set a detonator.
Oh,
wait.
cool.
Set a detonator to go off. DC 10.
And I have a toolkit, so I either A, get bonuses, or B, I'm allowed to do it.
It's a DC 10 to set a detonator.
Awesome. Cool. That means even on a 1, I set detonators.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a simple thing.
Okay.
Because I'm not looking for anything. I'm not trying to set like a pressure plate.
Right.
It's literally like, I'm not kidding when I say like it's a dead man switch. Lash clicks the button.
Yeah. And you basically, it's just a signal to these things with a 0 delay on them. So.
Exactly. The delay is her clicking the button.
Yep. All right. Anything else for you guys head to bed for the night?
Out of character, is Lena, does she live here? Is why they wanted her to come with us, or does she live in Garia?
She lives in this town.
Okay.
And they wanted you to take, the son wanted you to take her in case they showed up early or sent someone in, or...
And the son was from Garia?
Yes, he's the
Okay.
mechanic in Garia.
Okay. I'm going to talk to her and tell her...
She is back at the camp.
Oh, okay.
She didn't come along to fight. She's
Okay.
too old.
That was my concern. If she was here, I was going to recommend she go home, but at least for this shit. But,
Yeah. The only people that showed up were the able-bodied. Anyone too old or too young or disabled, they all stayed at the hideaway camp.
Okay.
And there was about 20 of them. So, all right. Anything else before you guys go to bed?
Nope.
All right. Next morning, do you guys run them through some drills or anything like that? Have somebody come with a speeder bike flying in?
I would like to start training the villager with me, if
Okay.
it's possible.
Yeah, I assumed you were doing that over the night when you set up the e-web and everything.
All right.
And you were yelling at them about putting up some sort of flap cover so that it could fall down.
Yeah, flap cover and extra carts in
Okay.
the area just to help defend against
Yeah.
any errant shots.
And I want to make sure that you could put it on one of the buildings. Did you want to put it down on the ground where Andrew put you?
I assumed we were lifted up a little bit
Okay. So
in that position.
are you guys able
Yeah,
to...
I kind of imagined it would be like a stack of crates, and the crate that he's in would be like at the top,
Okay.
and it would be one of those like it's been rigged to where when shit goes down, like you could just like kick the front of it open,
Yeah.
and he just starts firing.
Okay. So on the map
That's what I had in mind too.
So on the map, I moved you guys to the top of one of the buildings, kind of back behind the fire pit, so you're not right up in that area. So you're not in the kill box, basically.
Right.
And there is no high ground, unfortunately, modifier, but at least I don't think so. It'll give you a better view of what's going on if people are coming in.
So Lash is just going to spend her time either training people how to use holdout blasters, which she's proficient in.
Okay.
And has been through lots of training with it. Or meditating. trying to control this right now when she uses the Force, Hakru can sense it,
Right.
Lena can sense it. She's gonna start trying to see if she can control that better and hide that from others.
All right. I don't.
This is practice. I don't know if that's a skill that's even a thing. But
I think it is down the road. But it's not under the use the Force.
What are you trying to do?
Be stealthy
You
about
just
using the
hide.
Force.
yeah, stealthy about using the Force is all, or just not freaking you out when she uses the Force.
Oh, so it's like it's just subtle just to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sense
I don't know.
Force.
I do know that there is a basically use the Force to become invisible,
Right.
Right.
but that's not what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, basically anybody with use the Force can sense the Force on a planetary level pretty easily. DC 15. I think there is stuff later on that lets you mask it a little bit.
Okay.
It's what Palpatine used, basically. So I don't know if it's just a dark side thing, but it's out there.
It might just be a Force talent.
That's, yeah. All right.
I mean, hell, even in they had to go all the way from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, so a whole new series before they could start hiding power levels.
Yes. Let me see if I do a quick search. Hide Force powers. Jedi Sentinels probably do it. Force traditions. So it's probably out there. I'm not gonna go search
yeah, we don't
for
have
it.
to spend time on it right now. She's not going to get proficient in it. She's just going to start trying to
Right.
control that, about herself.
Okay.
Not freaking her through out when she's.
Okay. Anything else in the morning you guys want to do before they head out to the city?
Eat something.
Okay. They have brought some food with them. It's pretty tasty, pretty fresh. A couple hours go by. People are still training. Who all's going to the city again to deal with
I am.
the transport?
I thought in our discussion we had given up on the idea of the transport, of doing anything to it.
No, we just don't want to steal it. We definitely want to sabotage it.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, Hakru would definitely be going.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the same party as yesterday.
Okay.
Since we now know that it's a much bigger city, I feel like we've got a little bit of anonymity. I don't expect that the one guy that I got in a blaster fight with, I'll see. Although we are
Okay.
going right to where he most likely will be.
Right.
Yeah, I'll just let Nanat and her crew go.
Okay. All right. So those two jump on the speeders and take off.
Actually, if you don't mind, I think Lash is going to go with him.
Okay. Anybody else?
No, I'm staying back.
Okay. What's Leto doing? Leto is helping you, Jad, instruct the villager. Because the villager was not getting it. They had to keep going over things. And so Leto came over and started projecting displays and what was happening when you adjusted this knob here, what was happening. And then you guys were doing a couple of shots and it was showing how to do it. So
It's good.
he rolled an
I
nat-
was getting ready to smack the guy in the head. So that's
yeah, he rolled an nat 20 on trying to train this guy a little bit. So
great. Nice.
so you three jump on your speeders and head off. What's 2 hours seems like not any time at all because it's all the same terrain. And you eventually come up to that spot where you guys had parked before and get off the speeders there and start heading in.
Before you go farther, the comms that Nanat picked up, are they relevant in any way?
Yes.
For what
He had 4 of them. So he would leave one with, I guess each of you if you needed.
Okay. So my what Lash is going for is to meet Lena's son, I guess,
Okay.
and tell him that she's doing fine, that she's safe, and then she wants to ask him about the Force and his ancestry a little bit, and if they have anything they can help with. Again, this can be in a few minutes. I know that you're just coming in. I just wanted to let you know what she was going there for.
Sure. Okay. You guys get there. You start heading in. Nanat keeps talking about a hat for some reason. He left 2 comms with the 2 people in the town. So Dodd and Jad both have one. So the 2 that you guys have can be used while you're in the city, but just won't reach the town.
Okay.
It's really hard to stealth up to the city like this, but you see other like people coming and going and doing things. You don't know if it's people are leaving to do some mining, and that's what's happening, but it seems like it's normal for people to be coming and going out of the city.
Okay.
They seem to be in small groups.
Yeah, I think we both had this. Like we went from, like in my head, like the first time was like, oh, dirt road town, dirt road village,
Right.
to small town, when in fact it's actual like mining
City.
Right.
city, mining
Yeah.
village to
Right.
city. So both are larger than I was expecting.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would just go in through the front door, be as non-suspicious as possible.
Yeah. And there's no door, there's no gateways. It just kind of, the city peters out to a certain point and then kind of stops in a circular formation. So on the way in, a little bit to the left is the mechanic shop, and he's got a landing pad outside and a couple of junkers and things like that. So like a small scrapyard. So you guys head there first, I assume?
Is that where Lena's from?
Yes. That was
Okay,
her
yeah.
son. What was his name? Let me get him up.
I kind of felt like Lash's thing was going to be separate than a crew going to go take apart a
Yeah.
ship.
It can be. You guys can go your separate way. I'm gonna head back to town after, talking to this guy anyway.
Let's see. There he is. Okay. So you drop Lash off at his shop and head on?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, most of the landing platforms are on the outside of the city. No one really lands directly inside. So you've got quite a few. You got some space to sort of cover, unless you try to do some investigation to where you find out where it could be coming in at.
We could just leave the bikes at the shop,
Yeah, you could do that.
and then
Yeah,
it
that's
just
fine.
kind of makes sense. It's going to be the most inconspicuous place. Like,
Right.
it's kind of like, hey, there's a car parked outside the mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys get out, start trying to set up a perimeter. What do you guys want to do? Do you just want to sit and watch the spaceport pads, or do you want to try and find out somehow where this is happening at? It's up to you.
Yeah, I think we'd. So, I would imagine it's Nanat and I. We would probably be wanting to try to figure out who's got, which. Yeah, we would be trying to figure out where it's coming in from, like
Okay.
what dock.
Okay.
So we'd be looking at like incoming ship manifests and things like that.
All right. You're not sure. Port Authority. Does this place have one? Yeah, it kind of does. Trying to do well. It depends on who. Someone's got to jump into a system or something like that to slice a system to find out what's going on.
Does the not know how to do that?
I don't think so.
Because the crew absolutely does not.
Lashara also does not.
Yeah.
Well, Lashara's talking to the mechanic. Okay, so maybe instead we're going to be looking to see where some thugs are hanging.
Yeah. All right. So this is going to be a perception roll for an hour of sort of walking around and seeing if there's. You basically have to skirt the whole city walking around to see if there's a group of them waiting out.
21.
21. So an hour goes by. We'll come back to you. You basically knock on, Lashara knocks on the door to the mechanic shop, and eventually the door opens, and there's a gentleman standing there wiping sort of grease off his face. He goes, "Can I help you?"
Yeah, Lashara bows very properly and says, "My name is Lashara Carfe. I've been helping take care of your mother, Lena."
Oh. Are you guys back?
For the moment we are, and I kind of just wanted to give you an update and talk to you if you had a moment.
Sure. He waves you guys in, closes the door behind you, and he sort of walks back through his shop while you guys are talking.
And Lash, I mean, since Nanat and Hakur are still there, we've been kind of discussing this whole plan of theirs anyway. I'm going to go ahead and hop in onto that a little bit and ask him first. Do you know where the best source of information is to find incoming shipments into the city?
He says it's broken down into sort of three levels or areas within a computer system. One is basically just generic shipments coming in and out that are on a regular, and then the top tier is like special shipments, special permissions, that sort of thing.
I'm guessing you'd need clearance for that.
He says generally, yeah.
You wouldn't know how to do that, would you?
Oh no, I'm just a mechanic. I don't know anything about computer systems or anything like that.
Oh, that's okay. It was just by chance.
He says, but generally, what are you looking for?
Oh, we're waiting for a certain ship to arrive, and we're not quite sure when it's landing or where.
What kind of ship?
It should be a large cargo ship with large enough to haul a troop transport.
Oh. He says that will probably be the tier 1. Do you know who's receiving it or who it's going to?
Not at the moment. That's kind of what information we need.
Because it sounds pretty important. There's only a few pads that will take that sort of stuff in that have any sort of security or priority around them. But yeah, if you knew who it was going to, I could probably tell you, because most people use the same pads for their stuff all the time. It's not like they don't park anywhere else.
How about this? Do you know if there's a certain pad that the mayor likes to use?
Yeah, that's going to be on the northwestern pad that she likes to use. And her crew runs it pretty much. No one goes in and out but her, and but yeah, that's the one they use all the time.
All right. Well, thank you for that help. That should at least guide us a little.
Sure.
She looks over at Nanat.
Okay.
I'm sure he would pick up that message.
Yeah. So you have a communicator. You four have a communicator. Comlink. Nanat did not get one for himself.
Well, Lash has one
Right.
already.
Hakru has one, Dodd has one, and Jad has one.
Yeah, and I'd imagine that even then, while we're in town, if one of us only really one of us needs the long range to get back to the other town. So while we're in the city, we really only need the one long range to get back to the town. Meanwhile, if whoever else has a short range, we can communicate to the one, so we can all still talk.
What you
The
guys?
long range one requires a backpack and all
Right.
that stuff. By the way,
That-
Yeah, I don't think we have a long range one,
Yeah.
do we?
That's the one. Yeah, that's the Hoth one. That's the one you saw in Rogue One. The guy had the backpack on. He was plugging in. So these are little. Yeah, you guys all got one each of the little handheld ones, and they're
They're encrypted.
Yes.
Get that out too. They're dying.
right.
Oh, curse this metal body.
Right. So
Okay,
and these things only have a certain range on them. So within the city, yeah, you're pretty good. Getting out of the city, you won't be able to contact them at all.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Unless you're close enough. Unless you're on a speeder bike racing toward them, you might be able to get a message off.
So,
Well, so
I
what
have
we-
no idea what you guys are saying to
Yeah.
each other currently.
But
It is
Hakru does, and Hakru can relay messages to Nanat. They're going to be together, so that should work out.
Okay.
Yeah. So you tell us north side, it's on lockdown.
Yeah.
We start going over there. We're like,
Northeast.
we start looking at like at like addresses. We're probably like
Right.
72, 74. They're going up. Damn it.
Right. Right.
Well, it's got to be a certain size pad that you're looking for anyway,
Right.
so it shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah.
So after she sends that message to them, she tells him. I don't remember his name.
Shina. Shina.
Okay. She tells him that Lena's doing quite well. She's had a lovely time. We've gone shopping, and she cooked us a great meal. She's actually quite a joy to have around. However, she did kind of scare us at first.
Scare you.
Yeah. Did you know that she's force sensitive?
Force sensitive. We knew she knew a little bit. She always talks about great grandma.
Yeah, great grandma. If you don't mind me asking, and I'm not trying to pry, to be honest, it turns out that I have some of this skill myself, and I would just like to learn more. Do you happen to have anything here from great grandma that could help me learn this, or do you know anything that could help me? Your mother's been a great help, but I don't know where to turn next.
He says, I don't think so. Everything should be in her home. I didn't take anything with me here. Didn't seem like there was anything important. Not for mechanics or anything.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your help, and again, your mother's or your grandma, is it grandma, I guess?
His great grandmother, her grandmother.
Okay, so Lena's the grandma.
Right.
Yeah. So your grandma is quite a nice lady, and I've enjoyed my time with her. Things may be changing in the town before too long. We're gonna try to come to a peaceful resolution to their issues, and hopefully she'll be safe in her home here very soon.
That is comfort. I always worry about her.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much. And if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of hang out here with the bikes for a little bit until my friends get back, and we'll get out of your hair.
That's fine. I'm just working on some stuff over here. You just, have free reign. There's some food in the kitchen if you need anything.
Yeah, so she's just going to hang out and be ready to act in case her boys get into trouble.
Okay. Hakru and Nanut take about 10 minutes, and they come upon the outskirts, and there's a nice raised up platform above the sand and the water or whatever it is. And there's about 4 of these rough types that are 2 are sort of standing in the entryway, and there's 2 more up on top, and they got rifles on them, and they're kind of watching around, walking around.
But there's no transporter or anything like that's been delivered yet, right?
No.
Okay. Then, I mean, a crew's default here is high and laden to wait for the transport to be delivered.
Go ahead and roll your stealth. Oh, Jesus. Nanat cannot roll tonight to save his life.
All right.
What'd you get?
20 total.
Okay. Nanat rolled a 1, so one of the guards stops and looks directly at him. It doesn't say anything, just dead stares him. And Nanat stands there for a minute, looks at him. He's kind of looking around, looking totally conspicuous, trying to lean up against something, and then looks back and he's still being looked at, and he looks away. It's very much like when your dog is watching you eat and you look at them and they kind of look away like they're not watching at all, and they slowly look back and they look away. That's what's happening. And he doesn't seem to
He's not picking up.
He's not picking up. Yeah. He keeps looking back every once in a while. And he's like, gosh, he's still looking in this direction. Looks back again. He looks away. But you notice it. The guy's just staring at him. He's staring at him at first, and he slowly starts to put his head down. He looks over at the other guy.
Get our pilot killed. Please do not get our pilot killed.
Looks over at the other guy and says something.
We're going to go a little out of character with this one. So with
nods over.
With the crew just completely vanished, he's going to basically whisper into the comm to Nanat, going, "You've been made. You need to leave."
Okay. The one guard calls the other guard and then kind of nods toward him. And about that time, Nanat perks up and then stiffly stands up and does this, walks in one direction and out of their sight.
I just love how Nanat is really cool and calm until suddenly he's not.
Yeah.
And then he's just awkward.
When you roll a 1, there's no saving that.
Oh, I love it. As far as I'm concerned, this is part of his character.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, leave him on the ship, leave him behind a duck blind, and he's excellent, but he's not good at social stuff, not good at hiding too much. So
He likes walls.
Yep. Yeah. He's good at hunting. That's about it.
I mean, honestly, probably the best practice for him would give him, fill his sniper rifle with stun rounds and have him hunt a crew.
Yeah. After about a minute or two, you hear him over the comm, and he says, "Are they following me?" And the guys just, as he's walking away, the guys watch him, both of them, and they look over each other and shake their head. Okay. And now they're actively scanning. Looks like they're watching for him to come back.
So I really following, no, but they are looking for you. This may be a what is word? And it's just dead silence, dead air.
Should I go back to the shop?
Solid. Oh, advantage. You could be a distraction once transport is here, so I can work. If you don't want to, that's fine. I will find a way.
He says, "What is your plan? Should I leave or should I find a position to back you up?"
Plan? Her crew is very much do I ever look like a guy who's ever had a plan?
Okay. He says, I'm going to find some high ground to sit and watch everything.
Okay, sounds good. And then like her crew all but like turns his comm off.
Okay. So Lash, you're hearing this too. So how many hours? About 5 hours go by, and it is sun's starting to set, and the activity on the 4 people picks up. And about that time, another 7 people arrive. And they all start looking, everyone's sort of perked up and walking around, and they're sitting at the base of the pad. And about that time, it's not a cargo carrier. It looks like a freighter descends down and lands. And they start walking up, and the back end sort of opens up. And this large-looking platform that's kind of looks like a shoe almost. It's got railings all around it, and these big fins poke down as it lifts off the ground and sort of backs out. There's a person at like the controls that sit at the back, and he's adjusting them, and it's pulling down. And when it finally pulls out, this is the skiff from Return of the Jedi, the sand skiff. And the guys are like nodding at each other and like elbowing each other. And they all start to sort of clamber onto it. And it turns around slowly and starts moving through the city toward the center of town.
Okay.
And with that, the freighter lifts off, and it looks like... make a perception roll, sorry.
All right. First roll was a 6, so I'm going to re-roll it.
Okay.
This is where being of a lower level is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Because if we were higher level, we would Malcolm Reynolds our way right into the center of town and do a big speech, kill the big bad, walk out of there.
Yep.
With a trophy
Yeah.
and a puppy dress.
So my
And
second
a
roll...
statue to Jad in the corner,
My second roll was a 15, so my grand total is 24.
Okay. With that second double take you do, you see the symbol of the Tatari on the side of the cargo ship as it's lifting off. And this cargo ship is a little more formidably armed than a normal cargo ship of its type. So it takes off into the sky. And you see the skiff just slowly maneuvers down through the streets to the center of town.
Okay.
And Nanat comes over. Well, you don't have your comm on. So Lashara hears Nanat go, "Is that the transport?"
I was going to say, this is when Nanat turns his comm back on and just goes...
You hear, it's not very well fortified. It'll be easy to shoot people off that thing.
He goes, so Hakru goes, yes, I agree. It will also be very easy to disable. I could mess with the upward propulsion that it has, so it will either not lift or lift too much, which will make driving it very difficult, if at all possible.
You did see that it's heading toward the center of town.
Yeah, they get to store it somewhere.
Should I meet you there?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So you start following the skiff in.
Yeah.
Let's do another stealth roll for this.
I'm good.
Okay. So you manage to follow it. It does it's pretty much a direct route. Flies right into the open quad, and when you get there, there is a speeder, and there are people leaning up against it. There's roughly about 7 people leaning up against it. And it pulls up along next to it, and they start getting into the main speeder, and 2 more people get onto the skiff, and the speeder starts taking off in the direction of the town.
Oh, they're going now. Okay. So this is when I get back on the comm and I just go, we have to get back to town now. They're going now. I thought this was happening tomorrow. They're going now.
Nanat says, all right, I'm heading back to the shop.
Yeah. So the crew just, he's not being stealthy anymore.
Okay.
But this is where he just like picks up. It's like, oh, fuck. And goes.
Okay. It doesn't take you about 10 minutes to get to the shop, and about that time, Hakrush arrived as well. Not Hakru. Nanat has arrived as well.
We don't have to be in a crazy hurry because half of them are walking, right?
No.
Half are on speeders, the other half are on a transport.
Right.
Oh, okay.
The skiff is not very fast, but it's still faster than walking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we wanna gun it and get in position.
Yeah.
Is what we want to do.
Okay.
Let's see. I did have the.
He may not be able to see you guys when you do that. He's probably got other screens up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seth has a question.
What's up?
So since I've been hanging out waiting, one thing, this is me knowing that they're coming, but before an attack for the E-Web, I would need to spend some swift actions to brace the E-Web so I can take a less of a penalty.
Okay.
Since it's been hanging out, would it be considered already braced so I wouldn't have to take any actions for it?
You could actually brace it
I just want to know
by
that
putting
upfront.
pins in the feet.
Okay, so it could be braced. It is braced. Then
Yeah.
We'll call it braced as it's there. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to confirm that before
Yeah.
we got too far. Thanks.
Yeah. And the velocity for the skiff is 250 kilometers per hour, where the speeder is, I think, it's pretty intense.
The speeder bikes were 850.
Yeah, I think they go a lot faster than the speeders. Let me check.
Yeah, because there's transport, there's speeder, and then there's speeder bike.
Right,
And we're on speeder bikes, which are the faster of the three.
right. Yeah, it's just a regular land speeder. 400 kilometers per hour. So, but it doesn't look like they're waiting around for the skiff to keep up. They're taking off on.
They're in land speeders, so we're still faster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, by quite
But
a bit.
that's why even though they left first, we're gonna beat them there, but
Yeah.
not by a lot.
Yeah. All right, so you guys jump on your speeder bikes, and head off. I assume you're going to take like an outward, to get past them, and then do a direct in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and roll a stealth for you two that are driving. Or I guess it's not driving. 1. He is not rolling well.
Can you roll another one?
They rolled a 2.
So did I. It's still a 12 total.
Yeah. You guys head off, and at one point, Losh looks over, and she can see them. You guys are sort of coming up on them. Not quite on, like you guys took a veer off, but it wasn't enough. And you start to come up, and you start to see them. Like, if we pass them at this range, they're definitely going to see us, no matter what. So
Lash, she's probably riding with her crew. She taps him on the shoulder and points.
yeah.
Says, we need to move off.
So Hakuru starts to veer a little bit further away. I just kind of imagine as both Hakuru and Nanat jumped in the pilot seat, we got to get back now. And so we started in that straight line, and it's only just now that we're oh, right. We got to go around them first.
Right. It's not completely dark yet, so that you could still sort of see. You'd definitely see a speeder bike if it came up and passed you off on the side. So with that, you guys adjust your trajectory and move farther out. I'd say until it's pretty hard to see them. But you have to do it kind of quick. So let's do a pilot roll. God damn, he's just rolling 2s like nobody's business.
Stop saying numbers, because every time you do that, it jinx my dice.
Woo, that's getting rough.
Okay, I didn't get a 2 this time.
He did.
All right, where am I? Pilot. Oh, dude, my pilot's one of my good ones. Okay, cool.
Say that again.
18 total
There you
is
go.
my pilot skill.
Let me see what his is real quick before I freak out. Yeah, it's...
It should be one of his good ones. He's our pilot.
Yeah,
Should be better than mine. I've got a 10.
there we go. Yeah, he's got an 18. So he got an 20 altogether. So it's pretty good. It's pulls it out the last second. Like he turns it real sharp, and it almost like he has to put a foot down, like they did in the episode, and takes off. And he gets pretty far out before he straightens it back out again. All right. So you guys head on, and Lush, you think you could see them off in the distance after you pass them. Once you guys start correcting back again. And again, the land speeder is taking off and leaving the skiff sort of behind, so it'll get there. Unless they stop, it'll get there a little bit after them.
So, not to speak out of turn, but I assume as soon as you guys come into range, you're going to warn me.
Oh yeah, we've got comms, so yeah, we'll be able to tell you way ahead of time.
Yeah. So it takes the speeder bikes 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, and the speeder bikes are twice as fast as the land speeders. So those are going to take 4 hours to get
Right.
there, which are twice as fast as the transport. So transport's going to take 8 hours to get there.
Yeah.
So we will have 4 hours between, even with our veering, if they even that took like a full hour,
Yeah.
we have an hour before the land speeder gets there
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
prep.
You got time.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Shit's hit the fan, so my player is now doing math because that's what I do. There's comfort in logic for me.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you guys get about 50 kilometers out from the town, then you can let them all know, but it's still going to be... If that land speeder eventually slows down so they arrive within 10 minutes or so, or at the same time, it's going to be about 8 hours.
So they're coming at, you said it's getting dark,
Yeah, it was just hitting dusk when you guys left.
so this is going to take place in the dark, y'all. That's potentially good, potentially bad.
Yeah.
5 to 6 hours after we get back, that's when the land speeder could get there, assuming it never stops.
Right. Right. All right. So you guys eventually get within the 50 kilometer. It's going to be like a zip through too. So as soon as you can, if you guys want to alert them, or you guys can just go into town and tell them.
Yeah, 50 kilometers. By the time you'd be like, they're coming,
Yeah.
we're here.
By the time the person at the end picks up, you guys are pulling in. So you guys arrive. I don't think anyone looks like they're stressed out or anything because with the time variance, you should have plenty more time to sleep even if you wanted. All right, so you let everybody know. The excitement around the camp starts to pick up. The people still want to practice a little bit more. The villagers do. They all do, actually. So they all get out and really start wanting to do a little bit more advanced stuff. So you guys were doing like shooting bottles and stuff, and then somebody decides to start tossing bottles up into the air or whatever, and they're trying to shoot them in that vein. So
Hakru, who has been up and active all day, is going to go take a 4-hour siesta.
okay, yeah, Nanat's going to try and do that too. And you think you got the kid pretty well trained on the e-web controls? Anything else going on? Anything else anybody wanted to do at this last minute?
Nope.
I'm just gonna walk the perimeter and make sure that I know exactly where everything is. Frankly, I've got a map in front of me, but my character will know exactly what's going on. I see if anybody needs any help and just kind of pitch in, offer a little bit of advice, but I'm not really a gunslinger, that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. 5 hours go by. And I guess those that were sleeping start getting up in case the land speeders come in at the same time. Some of the villagers have taken a quick nap or have fallen asleep in the areas. They put a pretty good sized fire in the fire pit. And a lot of people are milling about. It's still middle of the night.
I'm gonna go up to whoever wants to listen to me and tell them how excited I am for this, and that I hope that when it's all over, somebody tries to run, because I haven't been able to be on a good hunt in a long time. I'd really like to hunt somebody down.
The kid,
Nod and smile.
the kid sitting next to you on the e-web looks at you like, yeah, he rolled a 2. He's like, what? You guys are the good guys?
No, we are guys.
Yeah. Yeah, this kid's like 14. Totally shocked. So 5 hours go by, nothing's happening. Another hour goes by, nothing's happening.
At that point, Lash is going to kind of reach out with the Force and see if she can sense anybody getting close.
Okay, roll use the Force.
Oh, shoot. I rolled a 19 plus 9. Yeah, so she got a 28.
Okay. Let me see. This falls under... cover concealment. So basically, you're using use the Force to sense your surroundings. So you're using that for your perception rolls.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's all use on Vaughn. Okay.
Better not be no use on Vong. I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, it's just what I grabbed out of the wiki. It's got a whole thing of powers. All right. She closes her eyes and puts her hand out in the direction of the city and stands there for a minute. The wind kind of blows a little bit through her fur. And she senses that they've sort of met up and they're getting ready to come in. But the land speeder may have stopped outside of the city or outside of the town a little bit, and that the other speeder, the other skiff is sort of coming up to it.
Okay.
What'd you roll? A 26?
28.
28.
Yeah,
As she's sensing them, all of a sudden her senses sort of sharpen, and she feels that there's another person between the town and the land speeder. And I guess at that moment the sense goes out and the person comes up to her, and they've got binoculars looking at the town.
Okay.
I
Is
encourage the people to walk. Oh, I don't know any of this. Sorry, never mind.
Dodd anywhere close by?
No.
I'm gonna seek out either Dodd or Panna and let them know that there's someone watching us close by.
Panna. You run right into him looking for Dodd, and he looks surprised. He says, "We didn't pick up anybody within our visual range, but we don't have scopes or anything like that. We didn't set up anything."
So she points out the direction and says, "There's someone over in that area. We might want to get Hakru or Dodd. I think they may have the ability to see that far."
He says, "I think I saw Dodd was in one of the buildings on the other end of town resting." He goes, I'm not sure where her crew's at.
So yeah, she'll go find Dodd.
Okay. Perception roll while you're searching.
Right. 14 plus 6. So 20.
Yeah, you find Hakru, and he's not getting up from his nap. He's eating some breakfast or whatever.
And say, since it's Hakru, I'm gonna say, Hakru, I think I feel someone coming close. Grab your rifle.
It's literally sitting right next to him, so he just
said, outside and look over here. And she point, they step outside and points over in the direction.
He kind of cross arms it, walks over and looks. When she points at the direction, he holds the scope up and looks down it to see what he sees.
Okay, perception roll.
Ooh, I'm going to hold on to that one. 17 plus, where am I? 28.
28. You're scanning through the horizon line, and all of a sudden there's a glint, and you kind of pass over it and then go back to it, and you see a person standing there, and the glint is the fire that is behind you on the glass of the binoculars. And when you look and face onto him, the person pulls the binoculars down for a second and then puts them back up. And you see them pull up a thing and start talking on it.
Oh, we are both well aware that we both see each other. That's what I just say to Lash, who's right there.
He
sees me seeing him, and he just told somebody something.
He puts the binoculars down and turns around and starts walking back off.
He's going away.
Lash tells Hakru, well, the others aren't too far behind. I think they're rendezvousing a little far out from town, but I can tell they're on their way. I'll rouse everyone if you can help.
Sure. Hakru just starts going and just letting people know. It's like he's not shouting, "They're here!"
Right.
He's walking out like, "Hey everyone, I just want you to know, it is time."
Yeah. Panna's walking around and knocking on doors and getting people up as well. So
time to get up. Your life may be about to end.
It doesn't take any time at all, and everyone's sort of roused up. And
Lash is going to tell people as she gets up, hey, they're watching us from afar, so don't let them see how many people we have or what armaments we have. Stay undercover.
When the knot finally comes around, he's pretty upset that he didn't set up some sort of watch with his either binoculars or his scope. I should have been watching. I didn't think they'd stop outside of town. So he goes up to his spot on top and starts scoping out. And in the comm, you guys are hearing what he's seeing from being angled up a little bit more. He's seeing the land speeders sitting out another equal distance out from where the guy was, and they're all sort of preparing from what he can tell. Some are getting back in the speeder, and some have got weapons out.
And he has a sniper kind of rifle, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think he's got the rifle I want to get eventually
Yeah.
to then mod way the hell out.
Yeah. Yep. Anybody else want to do anything?
I think it's staying in cover and staying hidden
Okay.
is the only way to get these guys to come through town the way we want them to.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sneak into my box, and hopefully they don't
Okay.
see me.
Everyone roll a stealth roll if that's what you're doing. Phew, there's his roll.
$21.
Okay.
18 plus 3.
Haku's gone.
Okay.
I rolled a 20 plus 10. That's a 30.
Okay.
I rolled a 7.
People in the same building as me don't even know I'm there.
You can't even see his feet.
19.
28.
Okay. So you all have done a pretty good job. If you're getting up on anything, you're walking around the back of the building and then climbing up the back, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think I'm
Yeah,
staying
Haku's going
right
to hide on
inside
top
the
of his
door.
building.
Huh?
I think I'm staying right inside the door and waiting until I see movement coming down the center way.
Okay.
You know, blaster kind of in hand, and who's got the? I thought I would have the thumb thing to blow it up, but whoever
I gave it to Lash because the crew believes Lash is the most level-headed person in the group. He has openly stated this.
The truth is he's probably right, but Dodd would never agree, so that's out of character. In character, Dodd would be like, "Wait, why don't I get the button?"
Because I already told Lash she could have it.
Oh, come on.
You get one to throw later.
Just asking the 14-year-old kid next to me. You ready for this? It's gonna be exciting, huh? You ready for this? It's gonna be good.
He is visibly sweating.
Well, yeah, he's locked in a box with an E-Web and Jad.
Yeah. And Panna has walked around and talked to some people. He says he's telling most people to stay out of sight, as we normally would be at this time of night. Just maintain the same thing. And so a few people are sitting around the fire and that sort of keeping up appearances.
Haku is full lying prone sniper position on the roof of whatever this building is. He does have his jetpack on because if need be, I will jetpack from building to building.
Okay. All right. Another 30, 45 minutes go by, and those with scopes and binoculars that are watching, go ahead and roll a perception roll.
I already said that I'm looking through a doorway.
Yeah.
I don't think I can
Yeah.
pedal on that.
I'm re-rolling mine. My first roll was a 6.
Okay.
My second roll was a 6. So I rolled a 6 plus, so 15 total.
Okay. Nanat says the skiff has arrived. It comes up over the comm. They're moving here. A couple more minutes go by, and you guys could hear the skiff approaching. Or not the skiff, the land speeder approaching. And it...
Tell me it goes into the kill box.
That's what I'm at the roll for. I guess one of you guys roll percentile. The closer to 100 is where it's going to be. It will be right in the kill box where you need to be.
Closer to 100? Who wants to roll? I feel like I've got terrible luck.
I'll do it. Give me 1 second. I gotta pull that dice out.
I got to pull up.
Yeah,
the
the only reason why I was
Now that I've forfeited, here's my roll. You guys are glad that I didn't do it.
Yeah, you're glad I didn't do it too.
I rolled a 60 and a 0. So is that 60?
Yeah.
Better than what I would have rolled.
All right.
Yeah, I rolled a 12.
I rolled for the fun of it and got a 2.
So it pulls up to about the first explosive. It gets just a little bit past that and stops.
So we picked up the 2 T's.
Yeah, we picked up the tails, so those
so
aren't there.
it would be.
Oh,
I
so
don't know
not
if you
there?
Can see me?
Yeah.
Can you see me
Probably.
moving the dragon?
No.
Oh.
You may have to set it down for it to.
All right. So I'm assuming right here because we picked up the tail.
Let me see if I can refresh it.
Yeah. So now it's just the only thermal detonators are a 4-box, and Lash has one,
Okay.
and Dodd has one, and the idea here is we can trigger those 4 to help really screw up round 1, and then we have the reserves for round 2.
Yeah, where this thing parks is right on the second tee of the 2 that you took.
Okay.
Okay.
That's 60% in.
Not
I'm
quite
assuming-
far enough.
Right,
Right.
and it stops.
Looking at this map, there's no indication as to where the doors are.
No.
But I had assumed that the area that we picked was like a central lane, so the door to the place where the D is facing objectively north.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Then I could theoretically open the door and zoom a thermal detonator behind the transport or the vehicle that's there,
right.
and hopefully influence them into rolling forward. I might attract a lot of attention to myself. So here's what I think I'm going to do. I am going to open the door, and I'm going to run like an MFer out that door while hurling the thermal detonator behind them.
Okay.
And that would be the start of
We
combat.
still
I
have our
guess.
comms.
So I do want to say one quick thing. Mostly because we did discuss the trigger for combat was going to be when they blew up. Now, obviously, they're being a little further back, but I mean, this may be like a wait and see what happens kind of thing. If you're dead set on doing it, go for it. I'm just gonna say, like, we did discuss that we were
I
gonna wait for
wasn't-
them to get in.
I wasn't there.
Well, no. That's what I'm
the
letting you know. It's like that's what I'm letting you know. It's like in that big text that I sent with all the battle plans. Like this was the stuff we had discussed,
Okay.
and this is something that we would have discussed with Dodd's character.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Dodd's pretty cavalier, but okay, look, out of character, would it piss you guys off if we started combat that way? As if so,
No. I was just letting you know. It's like, hey, just in case, as I understand, there's player knowledge and there's character knowledge. I was just making sure you understood what your character knew. And if your character still decides, nah, fuck it, plan's not going to work, then nah, fuck it, plan's not going to work. Let's go.
No,
I think
they stopped early where they weren't supposed to be. You're improvising.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Dodd's pretty decisive that way too.
Yeah.
The only reason I wouldn't do it, guys, honestly, just out of character, is that I don't want to screw up the flow of what you guys have planned.
Well, and I just want to say that it doesn't matter that much if they get out, and like if we follow the battle plan and Panna is over by the fire and they're gonna head that direction, they're gonna go into the kill box. Waiting might be advantageous.
Right, because that was the idea.
Okay. Will somebody roll D20, and if it's 11 or higher, I'm throwing a grenade. If it's less than that, the force is intervening.
Then I should roll. So
Yeah, I should
so
not
it'd be
touch
a
dice.
it'd be a one.
All right.
Oh no! Of course, on this one I rolled a natural 20.
Nice. All right.
All right,
Do
I'm
it.
chucking
All right,
the
cool.
grenade.
Throw it.
At
All
this
right, here we go.
At this point, it is 10 o'clock. I didn't think we were going to get into it, so I mean, this could take a while.
Till dawn.
Yeah, this could take
I
a
work
while.
tomorrow, so
I do. I have a
Yeah.
long day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's
damn it.
probably best to stop now before we get into initiative rolls, and then I have to pick it back up next week. So, or next time
Fair
we
enough.
play, because next week is Christmas Eve, and the week after is New Year's Eve. So it's going to be
I
at
will
least 3
definitely
weeks
be
out.
busy next week.
So, I guess if anyone needs to tweak anything or mess with the planning on what's going to happen with this, you're going to have some time to figure it out. So
My
you have
knee-jerk
time.
is we start next episode with Dodd throwing a grenade.
I
Okay.
like it.
All right.
Cool.
Then we will do that. All right. Thank you for everybody for tuning in and watching us. We will see you next episode. This has been a production of Gaming Without Gaming, all rights reserved. Visit us at gamingwithoutgaming.com. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/gamingwithoutgaming. Title music is by Greg Braun. Find him on soundcloud.com/Clara7. That's KLARA-7. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Gaming Without Gaming logo music is by Kevin MacLeod.